Have you ever wondered why some people can walk into a room, observe for just a few seconds, and suddenly understand everything that's going on? They notice patterns you completely miss. They predict outcomes before they happen. They see connections where others see randomness. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's training. Your brain is constantly scanning the world, but most of what it sees gets ignored. Not because it isn't important, but because you were never taught how to notice it. What if I told you that right now, hidden in your daily life, there are patterns shaping your decisions, your relationships, your money, and even your future, and you're walking past all of them, blind? The difference between people who succeed and those who stay stuck often comes down to one thing: pattern recognition. Think about it. Investors see market trends before they explode. Detectives connect clues before anyone else. Even in relationships, some people instantly recognize red flags, while others repeat the same mistakes over and over again. Why? Because their brain is trained to spot signals beneath the surface, and yours can be trained too. The scary part is, once you start seeing these patterns, you can't unsee them. It's like unlocking a hidden layer of reality. Suddenly, conversations feel different, decisions become clearer, and the chaos around you starts to make sense. But here's the catch. Your brain is actually designed to ignore patterns. Sounds strange, right? But it's true. Your mind filters out information to save energy. It focuses only on what it already believes is important. That means if you've never trained your brain to look for patterns, it literally won't see them. Imagine walking through a forest. At first, all you see are trees. But a trained eye, it sees animal tracks, broken branches, subtle movements, signs of something deeper. The forest didn't change. The perception did. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Shift how you see the world, so patterns reveal themselves naturally. Let's start with something simple: repetition. Patterns are built on repetition, but most people don't pay attention long enough to notice it. Think about your daily routine. The same actions, the same reactions, the same results. Ever notice how certain problems keep showing up in your life? Different situations, same outcome. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And here's the uncomfortable question: are you creating it without realizing? The first step to training your brain is brutally simple. Slow down and observe, not casually, intentionally. Ask yourself, what keeps repeating here? Because repetition is never random. Now here's where it gets interesting. Your brain loves shortcuts. It creates mental models based on past experiences. These models help you make quick decisions, but they also trap you, because once your brain believes something is true, it starts filtering reality to confirm it. That's why two people can look at the same situation and see completely different things. One sees opportunity, the other sees risk. One sees patterns, the other sees chaos. So if you want to train your brain, you need to challenge your own perception. Constantly ask yourself, what am I not seeing? What assumptions am I making? Because most hidden patterns are invisible to people who think they already understand everything. Here's a powerful exercise. Start connecting unrelated things. Sounds strange? Good. That's the point. Take two completely different situations in your life. Maybe a problem at work and a conflict in a relationship. Now ask, is there a similar structure? A similar behavior? A similar trigger? You'll be surprised how often patterns repeat across different areas of your life. This is where real awareness begins. When you stop looking at events as isolated and start seeing them as connected systems. Because patterns don't live in one place. They echo, they repeat, they evolve. And once you see that, everything changes. Let's talk about something most people ignore: timing. Patterns aren't just about what happens, they're about when it happens. Ever notice how certain things always go wrong at the same moment, or how opportunities appear in cycles? That's not random. Your life operates in rhythms, and if you can identify those rhythms, you can predict outcomes before they happen. Imagine knowing when to act and when to wait. That's power. But you only get it by paying attention to timing. Start tracking events, not obsessively, but consciously. Look for sequences, because patterns often hide in the order of things, not just the events themselves. Another layer most people miss: emotional patterns. This one is dangerous, because it controls your behavior without you realizing it. Think about your reactions. When do you get angry? When do you feel insecure? When do you lose focus? These aren't random emotional spikes. They follow patterns, triggers, responses, outcomes, over and over again. And here's the truth. If you don't recognize these patterns, they will control your life. But if you do recognize them, you can break them. You can interrupt the cycle. And that's where real transformation begins. Not outside. Inside your own reactions. Now let's go deeper. Your environment is full of hidden signals. People reveal patterns in how they speak, how they act, how they react under pressure. But most people are too distracted to notice. They hear words, but miss the meaning. They see actions, but ignore consistency. If you want to train your brain, start observing people differently. Not judging, observing. Look for consistency between what they say and what they do. Look for repeated behaviors. Because patterns reveal truth, and truth is often hidden behind noise. The more you practice this, the sharper your perception becomes. Here's something most won't tell you. Pattern recognition is uncomfortable because it forces you to face reality. You start seeing things you used to ignore, toxic behaviors, bad habits, predictable outcomes, and sometimes you realize you've been the one creating the pattern all along. That's not easy to accept, but it's necessary, because awareness without action is useless. Once you see the pattern, you have a choice. Repeat it or break it. And that choice defines your future. Let's make this practical. From today on, I want you to ask 3 simple questions in every situation. What is repeating? What triggered this? And where have I seen this before? That's it. 3 questions. But if you ask them consistently, your brain starts rewiring. It begins to search for patterns automatically. You'll start noticing things faster, understanding situations deeper, making better decisions. And over time, what once felt invisible becomes obvious. And here's where things get powerful. Once you can see patterns, you can create them. Think about that. Instead of reacting to life, you start designing it. You build habits that lead to predictable success. You structure your environment to support your goals. You avoid situations that repeat negative outcomes. You stop leaving things to chance, because you understand how patterns shape results. This is where control begins. Not over everything, but over what matters. Now imagine this. 6 months from now, you're making decisions faster. You're avoiding mistakes before they happen. You're understanding people on a deeper level. Not because you changed who you are, but because you changed how you see. That's the real upgrade. Not more information, better perception. Because when you can see clearly, everything else becomes easier. But here's the truth most people won't accept. This takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes discipline. You can't just watch this and expect instant results. You have to practice. Daily. Observing. Questioning. Connecting. Because your brain only adapts through repetition. The same way you've trained it to ignore patterns, you now have to train it to see them. And that requires intention. So the question is simple. Are you going to keep living on the surface, reacting to randomness, missing the signals right in front of you? Or are you going to train your brain to see what others can't? Because once you do, you step into a different level of awareness, a level where things start to make sense, where decisions become clearer, where you stop being surprised by outcomes, because you saw them coming. And if you made it this far, you already know something most people don't. The world isn't random, it's patterned. The only difference is, some people see it, and others don't. Now it's your turn.